Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. You are on the lifeboat, and right about now, if things were going according to Hoyle, there would be a smaller photo, probably to the right or to the left of me, of a gentleman considerably younger and considerably handsomer uh, than I am. I should be interviewing my son. Sadly, as we were putting everything together, at about 8 minutes till the top of the hour, we realized that his microphone setup is done, like just toast. And stop interrupting me when I'm trying to watch our morning boat. My bad. So with the microphone down, this is going to make for just a dog crap recording and a bad interview. And I don't want to do that to Calhoun at all. This is a big one, man. He's been sober now a really long time, and so we're gonna set it up better. I guess I'm gonna have to buy him a microphone, right? There's a Blues Brothers joke in there somewhere, right? You traded the Bluesmobile for this chunk of crap? No, traded the Bluesmobile for a microphone. Anyone? Please tell me we got at least one fan. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Your guess, probably as good as mine. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a few laughs, and we're going to keep this thing rolling until we get sorry, people, hold on one second. Until we get this thing set up. I believe that we should be able to get Calhoun under control within a fairly short period of time, and we'll get him back on. All right. Joy loves music. Joy, if I've never said hello to you, welcome to the lifeboat. Love welcoming new people to the lifeboat. However, sometimes I welcome them 4 and 5 times, which can be a bit of an issue, but I'm getting a little long in the tooth, people. You know what I mean? Getting to that age where you start forgetting stuff anyway. It is what it is. Hey, Sassy Gigi. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. And I do feel better, people. I feel a lot better. So since we're going to be doing a little free form today, if you have a question that you would like me to answer, please put the word question in front of whatever you write. A lot of times the chat starts moving pretty quick, and I'm scanning things, just looking for something. If it doesn't say question, I'm probably not going to grab it. So if you have a question, please put question in front of it, and it will make life a little easier. So I had an email from somebody that said, as bad as they did us with opiates, and they're referring to the entire setup of how bad the opioid epidemic was. Why am I not going after the people responsible? So if you've missed that, you can go back. I've done 2 shows so far. His plea for the guilty has been denied. So they're not letting him plead guilty? I'm confused, V. Tell me what that means, because that's I thought he was trying to withdraw his guilty plea. My guess is that they said you can't do that, right? Judges do not like doing that. It's bad precedent, and they do not like it at all. Hey, Russ, good to see you. Zelda, glad that you're here. Question: what was your relationship with Calhoun while you were inside? It's a great question. So, when Spanky was like 12, that was right around the time that his mother, I sent her to a rehab, and she didn't come back from the rehab. So she took my kids, and she got married to a woman that she had met in rehab. And so from that point on, Calhoun and I were close until, we talked all the time. I was out, we were seeing each other, and I was still doing dope, but I think I fell in. Yeah, he was already a grown man. Like, he really was. He was a young man, but he was already a grown man. What happened was he was starting to find himself in some trouble with the law. Nothing huge and major, just same kind of stuff that happens to addicts. But he started to lose control and started to develop a drug problem. And because of that, phone numbers didn't stay up very long, if you follow me. So I would have phone numbers written down, but those phone numbers, when I went to call them, they were never the right phone number, which was a bummer. So I did everything I could to stay in contact with them, but not much. Honestly, there's not much. It's really difficult, especially at the time I was with a woman, and I wrote her a letter a day. She wrote me a letter a day. If you're doing that, and that's how you're doing your time, and you're writing to an adult who's writing back to you, kids are completely different. Even my daughter, when I first linked up with Cedar, I would send an email because we did it all emails. And sometimes it would take 4 or 5 days, for her to respond. And it was just, she was a teenage girl, right? I couldn't take too much of that to heart. Thank you to everyone on here who has had to listen to you rambling. What? It's only been a year and a half of rambling. You got nothing to be. I'm kidding. It has been a very long. They've kept this thing out of court far too long. But did I sum that up, V? Is that's what's happening? Did they not let him take back his plea? Let me see if I can find you. You probably explained this. You're in the middle of telling everybody. Aha, perfect. So he's getting sentenced. They're not going to let him take back his guilty plea. That is good news, people. For all parties involved, that's good stuff. Congratulations, V. Right? We're gonna have to have a celebration. Tammy C, I love that you're gonna have family time. We are always happy to be turned off so that you can spend time with your family. Great thing. Great reason to turn off the boat. Are you with me? Green Acres. Wait until the 6th of December. I'm telling you, right? The 6th of December is going to be, people, if you just got here, V has been through hell. I mean, there's no other way to put it. This has dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. This individual, he's a convict, right? He also happens to be a wife beater, which is not something that you get a whole lot of love on the inside for, at least where I did time. But he was a career criminal. So as career criminals, there's a lot that you can do to really string out that process. It's incredible if you want to. Sorry. Yeah, the one of the things that inmates will do all the time is we know as soon as we get busted, we know that if they take us to court and we decide we're going to take it to trial, right? They're going to have to put 2 attorneys on, right, on the case. They're going to have to pay for my attorney, right? Because that's how it works. The court's going to have to pay for the public defender. So 3 lawyers are being paid: stenographers, secretaries, the judge, all of this. Well, in the state that I was in, that worked out to be about $34,000. That was now, if that's real or not, but that was what every inmate heard, right? Everybody said, that's it, right? There's so much cash that they don't want to, blow. So all they want more than anything in the world is a conviction. How you go from being a prosecutor to being a district attorney or something where you get a little bit more juice is by having a very high conviction rate. If you can say when you're running for office, I've seen 4,000 felony cases, and I have a conviction rate of 95% or whatever. Doesn't mean he beat somebody 95% of the time. It means that everybody pled guilty. So all they really want is that guilty plea, and they will do all kinds of things to make that happen. Lady Mr. Ray Ray, what seems to be the problem? Thank you, Tina Marie. My roommate cut his finger and needed minor surgery. Well, that sucks. You know what minor surgery is? Minor surgery is something that is done to someone else. Jason P. Thank you, my friend. Looking good in green. And he says, Ray, we love you. You can always find that out later. Yeah, this is, we all have those days, do we not? Jojo says, Jojo has a question. Have you found it common that ex-addicts end up on antidepressants, etc.? I've personally found they really help keeping me on the right road. I'll tell you what, it's different with everybody. It's different with everybody. With some people, it's an answer to prayer. And with some people, it's why you have to go in and you have to be an advocate. You have to talk to the doctor and you have to do all kinds of things that are going to give them every opportunity to find out what's going to work. If you take the first one and say, this is awful, this stuff doesn't work for me. I went through a lot of antidepressants before I got to one that actually worked for me. Ray says, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'll be okay. I just need to sit through it. Ray, I have faith in you. I really do. I think the last time that Ray drank, he called me. We spent about an hour on the telephone, and over the course of the time that we've met, we've had a few really long marathon sessions. He was talking to me once about his brother and some watch purchases. His brother bought a lot of watches. But hang in there, Ray. Hang in there. Do the things that we talk about all the time, especially if you're getting ready to go to bed. Journal, minor exercise. Doesn't have to be huge, people. It really doesn't. It just has to be you getting a little bit of air, a little bit of water, and a little bit of oxygen going to your muscles. And I'm telling you, you will begin to feel different. Johnny Scoville, the first prison workout that I put him through. And this morning he said, yeah, you know what? I feel better. Like it was something that actually left him feeling better than he did. And that's usually the way it works. Candy's Light says, we are all here for you at Ray. I think that's the case. Everybody, we are a peer support group, right? We are a peer support group. We support one another when we're having bad times, right? And we try to lift one another up when we're having good times. Sorry, just catching a couple of comments. Oh, so when we're done here today, we're going to be doing the night yard with me and my man Russ. Actually, really looking forward to this. I love going live with Russ. And you know what I have, people? I have the hello, Liz. I have the dictionary of prison terms, the one that I told you that me and a cellmate wrote. I actually found that puppy. I was digging through a bunch of stuff today. Found a lot of old photographs and other stuff too. Now you live and learn. I'm destroying all that stuff. Those photos don't need to be around anymore. Sometimes photos can do things for people. And sometimes they do the exact opposite. There are people who, for whom photos can open wounds, right? It was odd today. It really was. It was odd. I popped off with so many pictures and pictures of me in prison standing with other inmates. We had taken kind of a group shot of everybody that was in the little drug program that we were putting on. They let us take a shot. It was about 100 and some odd people. It's a really, really wide picture. But there's a squirrel with half a tail outside your door right now, and he's looking at you. One of the best pictures ever was I had a picture of squirrel looking through glass at a squirrel, and the two of them were just kind of taking a look at each other. Did you use your photo ducats? You know what? The photo ducat is one of the funniest things in the world. You're picturing me with an afro like Washington from Welcome Back, Cotter. I don't know that I could rock that. Little thin on the hair department, Steve. Honestly, little thin on the hair department. Kind of one of those things that happens as you start getting a little older, and I'm getting a little older.
Man,
Welcome
back.
back.
Amazing hair.
I had amazing hair. You know what? There's a picture. Hand me that piece of paper, the big white one. Yeah. How about that? You ready, people? This is something that I'll be really honest with you. This is one of the most difficult things to look at. I found this today, and this was given to me by a cop when I was in the county jail. I had spent so much time in there because I was fighting the banks and everything else that he said to me, you know, we struck up some kind of a friendship as much as you can for somebody that you're working for in that kind of a situation because you're still a convict. But he said, man, you look so much better than you did when you came in. You were just so wasted. And so he printed off my booking photo, which is just insane. This was one of those things that when I saw, I went, damn, I had a lot of hair. But you want to see the look of somebody that's just there's nobody home? That's it right there. That's the look. Right there, man. Nothing. Sadly, nothing at all. It's you know, it's crazy too. When he pulled that photo off of the computer for me, there were 25 arrest booking photos on there of me. If that's an exaggeration, it ain't much of one, you know, because I had some failure with peers, and it had to be in the 20s. And that was not the worst. By far, that was not the worst. There was a couple of pictures there that I said, please don't print those. That one with the hair, that one was important because of what it was. That was the big one. That was the one that sent me away. So, but yeah, back when I had hair, kind of looked like a blockhead there. You know, it's I started shaving my head as a fashion statement because my hair started to thin out, and it's something that I have stuck with now for a really long time. However, I grew a ponytail in prison, and the ponytail, yeah, different human, right? I'm glad that you saw that, right? Because it really is. It's a different human being. I grew a ponytail so that when Q looked at me, I didn't look like every other person in there that was a hater. And he gave me mad crap about the ponytail too, but it would also was a statement, right? I wasn't going to shave my head. I wasn't going to put a swastika on me, and I wasn't going to go down that road. Got nothing. I'm not bad mouthing the people that do, right? You do what you got to do to get through there. Prison's tough. You do what you got to do to get through. But yeah, it wasn't going to be me. Can't do anything about family, huh? You know what, Emma? I'm the guy that says you can. I'm the guy that says you can. You see, if you look down a couple of names for me, see Christy Caldwell right there? Absolutely a sister of mine. I chose her, right? Not a sister by birth, chose her. And yeah, build yourself a family for recovery. The best thing that you could possibly do is put together a group of like-minded individuals that you can talk to. You can work through stuff. I have a friend that I've been working with recently. Kind of consider this person an old friend, and although we hadn't spoken in a long time, it was old friend. But there's a lot of really heavy stuff that we have been peeling the onion back. Yeah, find your tribe. Excellent, Candy. Excellent. Find your tribe. It should be pretty damn easy, right? This is actually probably the best place that you could go to find people who have similar who are pulling in the same direction, right? Because let's be honest, if we all had to put on a t-shirt today and that t-shirt had to tell everybody what you believe in, right? Everything, top to bottom, right down, right? Well, some of us would just start hating one another, which is pretty freaking sad, right? Because we love each other right now. But you put on that t-shirt, right, that said the name of whatever you're supporting, and half of these people will hate you. I'd like to believe that we're not that channel. I would really like to believe that. Now, I don't believe it enough to say, let's talk about politics today. Right? Don't think we're going to do that today, because that one does not make a lot of sense. Christy Caldwell, speaking of my sister Christy. And Christy's been from the very first day, just been a real source of inspiration. You know, we did a great interview, and just always there. You know, if you're having a tough time, and yeah, had a bad week or two, right? We had a bad couple of weeks. We will dust ourselves off, right? This is to the boat what a relapse is to an individual that is trying to get clean, right? I mean, this is tough. This is really, really tough. But we get up and we dust ourselves off. And you know what? Sometimes when we lose people, I can sit there and think, you know, I wonder how they would be reacting. This isn't one of those. This isn't one of those cases. I spent so much time talking with him that we talked about this. No lie. Talked about the inevitability of the fact that this could happen. I mean, he knew that the stuff on the street was getting stronger and stronger. It was about pain. It really was. It was about pain. But I remember he and I got into a really good fight once. Really good one. I mean, probably the ugliest fight I've ever had with anybody on the lifeboat. I mean, ugly. But when it was over, we were much closer friends, right? We really were. We were much closer friends. And that was the day that he said to me, if anything about my story can help anybody, I want you to tell it. You never have to ask me. You never have to call in advance. If my story can help somebody, please tell them. And I can't tell you the number of times in the last 4 or 5 days that I led my story off with, so your drug of choice is opiates? It just killed one of my best friends, you know, who had been doing it a really long time and had it under control. Wasn't somebody that was out being crazy and wild. He knew it was dangerous. He was taking smaller amounts. You're taking your life in your own hands. You know, you really are. But Buddha would absolutely want us to continue to press on, and he'd like us to help anybody that we could, especially with that particular affliction, because it's just so insidious. SPTV Tattoo Warrior says, have you seen the cool activity on Facebook? Boat members reaching out for help to each other. Very, very cool. There is a Facebook group that is just for the lifeboat. It is we often refer to it as the safe harbor. The reason that we do is because it's not like every other thing on what do they call that now? Meta. Christy in green. I guess they're calling it Meta. They used to call it Facebook. You call it whatever you want, right? But normal Facebook, we've talked about this a million times, right? I'll go rent a Maserati and take some pictures for the day. And, you know, people put out what they want you to think their life is, right? And comparison is the absolute thief of joy. If you start comparing yourself to all of these people that aren't real anyway, right? They're just showing you the vacations. They're not showing you screaming at at their son because it was the 5th day in a row that he said he was going to mow the lawn and hasn't, right? But we only see what people want us to see. On the Lifeboat group page, it's nothing like that, right? This is a group of people that will always be there talking about trying to stay sober. right? Trying to stay sober, trying to live their best life, trying to get through the trauma that we're all living with on a day-to-day basis. Because truthfully and honestly, the lifeboat's about trauma. It really is. My trauma came from drugs and from prison, right? But everybody's got it. All right. Awakened says Buddha is one of our lights that will continue to shine on all this evil, sick agenda they're using our loved ones to destroy as pawns. I am angry. I will not shut up. I will shine their light forever. God bless you. God bless you. And I know that you know the pain that his family is going through. It's amazing the number of people that just the number of people on the boat that we've lost. It's been absolutely staggering, and it just continues. It just every day there's more and more and more, and it's the reality of the world that we live in, right? So we can bury our heads in the sand. We can walk by like it's not happening, because that's a big one. V says, I feel bad about Buddha. He was always so full of life when he was here. I will always miss that. Yeah, you know what? He was one of the few people that had all my contact info. Buddha didn't really have a 5, he had a 1. And I was just working with him one-on-one. I met his grandmother before I met him. We just did really did a lot of talking. And but he would call me and my phone would ring, and sometimes he'd call me in the middle of the night or whatever. And yeah, he was always full of energy. He was always full of life. He was just a good human being. He really was just a good human being. DK says, worn out, Miss Dragon. I've been depressed more than usual. I'm glad that you're telling people that, CK. If depression starts to worsen, right, that's a bad thing. And it's something to be kept track of. You really need to take a look at this, because if it continues to happen, right, and it starts to get clinical, this is going to not only does it make it really difficult to stay sober, right, but you're not going to be obviously you're not going to be living your best life. And that really is just what we want, right? Yeah, my Facebook. I just wished he would have reached out to me. You know what? He reached out to me the night that he passed, and I got a message from him, and he was making a reference to something that Johnny and I had done, and he just said, "Oh boy, the Scoville brothers are together and acting stupid. You know how much I love it when you guys are together. How about a shout out?" And that was the last. That was the last correspondence that I got from him. We talked, if not every day, damn near every day. We communicated a lot, and I'm feeling better, people. I know I'm talking about it again. This is just really, really, I've done a lot of these. I really have. If you go back and watch, I've done a lot of these, and I loved every single person, I promise you. But what made Buddha different is just the amount of time that we spent on the phone together, and the fact that I knew this guy wasn't trying to get high. Wait a second. Goosebumps 801 says, I've fallen off the wagon as far as journaling. What the hell? That's going to have to stop. Marissa, that's a beautiful thing to say. She said, I'm sorry I haven't been here long enough to know Buddha. It is good to be introduced to him through all of your eyes. Lovely. That's beautiful. It really is. If you go back and look at any of the old shows, and you put on the live chat, he was there a lot. And he was just one of those people that was always had a smile on his face, right? Always. So Goosebump 801. The good news is When you fall off the wagon from journaling, you really only need a piece of paper and a pen, right? To get rolling. That's all you got to do. And right? I'm preaching to the choir, 801, right? I am preaching to the choir. You know exactly how much this helps, right? My journal wagon rolls, then stops, then rolls. Oh, I see it. I see a lot of people saying the same thing. Sadly, the more we live in tomorrow, we miss more of today. Amen, Russ. Amen. Hey, Tommy Bird. Yep, you're getting some wave there from Cindy. How's that? A little wave going on? He was so uplifting on this boat, wasn't he, Nick? Wasn't he really? He was just one of those people that would never let you in a bad mood, And or you know what? I would do a show, and if you watch 100 of these or 200 of these or whatever, yeah, it's I miss him. I really do. Guacaholic says, I'm withdrawing from journaling. My skin's crawling. I got night sweats. Can't sleep. I don't know what to do. I don't know, Guac. Maybe get a pen and a piece of paper, right? Maybe. Uh, Go outside and go for a walk. Take a big one. Candy says, I will carry the spirit of Buddha in my heart, and he's coming along on my recovery journey. I love that. I love that. And I've spoken to his family, and they're going to have to go and clean out, which is going to be hell. It's going to be the worst thing that anybody could possibly go through. But his grandmother said, you know what? I'm going to go through and get some things that were his that I would like you to have because of the relationship that you had with him. He joked very often that I was the dad that he never had. Apparently, before me, the dad that he never had was Jerry Garcia. He decided he was Jerry Garcia's love child. I was a close second. That's high praise from a deadhead if I was second. Anunnaki child. Chronic pain patients are tired of the fight. Doctors and insurance has failed us. Sorry for your loss. I love the love you have for people on the boat. Thank you, Anunnaki child. I really appreciate that. And this is such a great comment because it's the truth. It really is the truth. This is one of those situations. Go back and watch the show that I did on the Sacklers on those piece of fecal matter, right? Fecal matter family. Just you know what? How much money do you need? You're looking for a plug on pens? Come on, dude. Seriously, you're a pro. Check the cushions on the couch. Get in there. Somebody always drops a pen. There'll be at least one in the house, man. For real. Or you can go to a neighbor and knock on a door. Pens, always easy to score. Terry King says, hello, beautiful people. Late again. That's all right. No big deal. We go live every night at 5 at night and then 5 in the morning. Kind of keeping it simple for Tommy because I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. But if I keep it on the 5s, then I got a pretty easy system set up for taking care of it. Yeah. Sorry. Insurance hasn't helped me either. I'm so sorry, Virginia. I really am. The Sackler family, as I have mentioned many times before, they busted out the first ads ever for Valium. And they got away with it because they agreed to put up X number of side effects, right? Symptoms that you could have. They have to list, I think it's 5, right? Side effects. So they'll give you 2 in the beginning and then like 3 at the end or whatever. But Valium was the first one that they ever, the very first. Sorry, saw something that really rocked my world. And that kind of stuff happens all the time, doesn't it? Like for real? It happens all of the time. Sorry. Terry, glad you're here. You got this. Thinking of you. I let my kid move back home, and the brat keeps taking my pens and drinking all the milk. You know what? If all that's disappearing is milk and pens, you are winning the lottery. I promise you, that's a really, really good thing. I'm glad to be here. You all help me keep my sanity. You guys do really, really nice to help me with that as well. Susie Q knows the Sacklers. Okay, so Arthur Sackler went from Mother's Little Helper. Remember that? You guys know the song, the Rolling Stones. Things are much too hard today. I hear every mother say, the pursuit of happiness just seems a bore. So she ends up taking a little yellow pill, right? Even though she's not really ill. This became the most prescribed drug on the planet. Now, it also brought some unwanted attention to Arthur Sackler. So he kind of disappeared. And then Purdue came out with a really fantastic drug. And it really was a fantastic drug, right? Morphine sulfate, great painkiller. Not the world's best painkiller, but a really good one, right? For all intents and purposes, it's heroin missing one little acetyl molecule that allows it to pass through the blood-brain barrier quicker. So you do morphine, and it can take a really long time, 20 seconds or something, 30 seconds for you to feel it. Whereas with heroin, you're going to feel it before the plungers, pushed all the way in. So it's a different drug to be sure. They took morphine sulfate, MS, morphine sulfate, and they added to it a brand new time release system that they sorry. Anunnaki child. I will yeah, that's funny. You commented on my post about feeling guilty for whooping that dude. I appreciate that. That's how we knew we were good people, when we feel guilty for a well-deserved beatdown. But you got one in sober. That actually was that's actually incredible and a true story. I'll tell you something. When you've got to do the fight or flight thing and you're doing it sober, it is a completely different feeling. I promise you. I think every time that's kicked in my life, I think I could count on one hand the number of times that I was not really jacked up. So when I went outside to say hello to these people, I wasn't doing it with any assistance, so to speak. Going back to the quiet place. Quiet girl, please take care of yourself. My nightly pop in while waiting for my ride home from work to say hi. Hello, Valerie 102. Good to see you. A neurologist put my dad on Valium for years for vertigo, and he got dementia. His primary doctor told me the Valium was the reason why. There are people who believe that. There are people who believe that that benzodiazepines over a long period of time can lead to dementia. There are people, and there are some reports that are being done that says that it's not great for us, right? So after the they added this Contin, which is the time release. So you guys know what OxyContin is, right? Okay, OxyContin was just Percodan or Percocet with a Contin with a release. So they take a much larger amount of the drug, and it, in theory, it bleeds out over a 12-hour period of time. What do? We crush it, right? So that we get rid of all of that time release stuff and we snort it. And now we're really getting it, right? Or you inject it or whatever. But that's what happened to these stuff. So morphine sulfate, Contin, it became morphine sulfate, MS Contin was the drug. And it was genius because it was only given to you if you were going to die. They were not writing this for any other kind of pain. This was simply um, to work in hospice, right? Well, nobody really cares if you get addicted to drugs if you have 30 to 60 days left on this planet, right? That's not really going to be an issue for you, right? So these people were given as much MS content as they wanted. And you know what it did beautifully? Tommy Bird knows. It took away the pain, right? It absolutely took away the pain. And they saw a beautiful angle, the Sackler family, because that's what they do. They're the lowest of the low. So they saw an angle and they thought, if MS Contin is working for people in hospice, why can't we take the time release? Do the same thing with, say, hydromorphone, or which was Dilaudid, and they tried, right? That became, what was that stuff called? That was a very strong time release drug where they took Dilaudid and made it into a time release. Damn, I can't remember what that stuff was called. But they started doing it with everything, right? And the big one, of course, was oxycodone, right, which was Percodan or Percocet turned into OxyContin. And we had 10s and 20s and 40s and 80s. And if you were in hospice, they had 160s, and they even had one that was like 300 or something that came in a capsule. You were only going to get that if you were, dying. But they pushed OxyContin on everybody. Like if you stubbed your toe, you know what you need? Some OxyContin. Wait, PMS? You need OxyContin. Question. Okay, Tommy, I've got my notepad. I've been putting it off because I don't know where to start. Any suggestions? I assume we're talking about your journal, right? Okay. So let me tell you how I journal. Do it any way you want. But if I'm journaling at night, I'm going to take about that much of the journal. And I'm just going to go over what happened today. Now, if something happened today and it's really important, I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to talk about it below. And below sometimes could be a page. Sometimes it could be two. But I lay out what happened today. So went to the bank. Had to buy parts for watches. Needed to pick up. All done. Everything I did. Talked on the phone to so-and-so. Whatever. Right? And then I start to write free form. And if I can't think of anything, then I go into the past, because I have found that as I start unpeeling onions, and if those onions are from the past, guess what? That's where I learn things. So if you're stuck, pick a grade, right? Pick a grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, whatever, right? Try to remember everything you can about 1st grade. How many kids can you remember? I went to a 1st grade at a one-room schoolhouse with 7 other children. So there's 8 kids in the class. I can probably remember every one of their names, right? But that's how I start. I always start with something in the past, and I start with something that is going to force me to try and remember. Why? Because if I'm trying to remember something, right? If I'm in the process of trying to do that, then I'm already turning on the brain, right? I've already got the brain doing exactly what I want it to do, right? It's peeling back the onion. Now, you'll accidentally, most people who come across exactly what was really driving them nuts, it's almost always an accident. You don't come across it and go, I knew that's exactly where I was going to find it. This is the reason that I've been getting high. I just started peeling the thing and I started talking about things from my past. And, there you go. The next thing you know. So Exalgo, I think, is time-released hydromorphone. That's not the one I remember. The one I remember was called Opana. See that? That just came out of, that's the Wayback Machine. Opana is time-released Dilaudid. Now, problem with that is there was never any reason for a time-released Dilaudid. For real. Like, that ended up in front of Congress, kind of thing. And after studying it, they said there's no reason on God's green earth that you need to take the lauded and make it a time release drug. It's bad juju. And if you happen to be a person whose drug of choice is opiates, then I can tell you that the lauded is one of those things that it's considered highly praised and sought after among addicts because of it's very unusual with what it does in the body. It is a completely different buzz. Tommy, you managed to get rid of the taste of the dodgy egg yet? No, I have not. In fact, no. And if I blow my nose, I can still freaking smell and taste it. Yeah, on Hulu, they done a program on OxyContin. They called it Hillbilly Heroin, right? Here where it started out like 10 milligrams and went all the way up to like 400 or 300, like you said. I can't remember. Yeah, Hillbilly Heroin. There was the Appalachian part of our country was hit really, really hard. And the pill mills that would spring up on Alligator Alley, right? Like from Florida going all the way up. There was just everywhere you went, there was a pill mill. And just plain ugly. Paul in Tucson says, let's see if we can get you on the bigger screen so I can actually read it. I'm in the long process of getting off all my prescription narcotics. Gone from 27 milligrams down to 9 milligrams of the extended release side of things. Not sure exactly which one you're coming down from, Paul. But let me see here. Gone from 27 milligrams to 9. 27 is a really odd number. The only thing that I know that is done in threes like that probably would be the Neurontin or gabapentin. I can't think of anything else that they're doing in 3 milligrams. Well, depending. I mean, I guess technically you could be doing benzos, but if you're doing that many milligrams of benzos, bro, we really need to talk. Opana is oxymorphone. Yeah. And Anaki Child says, yeah, Opana is the lauded time released. That's absolutely the top of the food chain if you happen to be a drug user who's addicted to that family. And it does something really unusual when you put it in your body. It slows your heart down instantly. It's one of the few drugs out there that if somebody doesn't warn you, you're going to think you're going to die. Like the first time you do it, your heart slows down so fast, you think, oh, this is it, right? This is all over. And then you get this pins and needles effect that I would say 90% of the world probably hates. 10% of us that like it, really like it. Yeah, not time released. You want the whole thing. Yeah. Opana, I enjoyed those immensely. 8. Yeah, I'm with you. Doing time, dang, time flies on the lifeboat. I love it. Much love. E1. Jason, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, man. True story. I really do. If you want to see something fun, people, stick around. We're going to be going over some vocabulary terms on Night Yard, where my ace deuce, right? My convict brother from another mother is going to come on and do Night Yard with me. Did you ever take any Opana or pill form methadone? I have taken tons of pill form methadone. Yeah, I bought a box of Opana that somebody had somehow got, and it was, I think there were 300 pills to a bottle, and there was like 8 bottles in the box, something like that. It was a lot, and I sold off the vast majority of it, and then just kept like one. I am so glad to hear that that the journaling in the boat have been a blessing for you. I really mean that. You know what, people? We're all just looking for tools. We are all just looking. Yeah, Dilaudid is hydromorphone. And when you time release it, it becomes Opana or dead or whatever. I haven't watched, but I hope at least one of them liked the century egg. I love them. Excuse me? Tina, you eat these things on purpose. I'm having a real struggle with this. Are you really telling me the truth, Tina? You enjoy the taste of that thing. That was the nastiest thing I have ever tasted. Dope Sick. Marius, yeah, on Netflix or Hulu with Michael Keaton is so touching and sad. It's about the Sackler evil family. I'll tell you something. The Sacklers have donated money. They used to love to get invited to really cool galas and things like that. So they were always donating a lot of money to the arts, right? Big museums, the Guggenheim, got a lot of money from them. In the last couple of years, they've all started giving it back. Like they don't want the Sacklers' money anymore because they realize it's blood money, you know? Sorry. Wow. Diana M says, I started on benzos by doctors at 13. The doctor that started you on benzos at 13 should be pistol whipped, in my humble opinion. He should be pistol whipped. But you've been off everything for 10 years. 58. Every day is a struggle, but I'm still here. You know what? Honestly, I believe that every day will be a struggle for me for the rest of my life. Right? But the idea is to make the struggle as little as possible. Right? That's really what we want, isn't it? We want the smallest amount of that and the longest amount of joy. Thank you, Todd. Yeah, Dope Sick. I probably need to see that. I have not yet. Seventh Son is hard on himself? Probably a little bit. And he is a good dude. I promise you he is. Known him a long time. Kind of amazing how much your son had a heroin problem and is clean now. Sandra, how good is that, people? How good is that? Sandra, thank God, right? Thank God. Continue to do what you're doing. That is a ripple. That is a huge ripple. 300 people today are going to find out that their son didn't make it. Or their daughter didn't make it. It's a bad sandwich. It's a bad sandwich. And all parties involved are going to be taking a bite. Sad to say. Question. So what was worse, the gross black egg or the runny brown fish stuff? Okay. So the smell of the fish was enough to make me vomit, right? So that was really just, the smell was so bad. But the texture of that century egg, nah, forget about it. Like I would chew that thing up and it tastes terrible. It tastes absolutely awful. But I'm chewing this thing up. And as you try to start getting it to the back of your throat to swallow it, like the back of your throat's like, nope, not going to happen. Like this was never intended to be swallowed and it's not going down. I don't know how Johnny did it. You know, he's a freak though. Oh, wow. Tommy Bird. I was there when somebody came back from one of those and they had 2 hockey bags full of narcotics that they had stolen out of it was just incredible. I'm on a separate but very serious note. Never put mothballs in your attics. We have a serious infestation of moths that were migrating and thought would be great to get mothballs. Terrible idea. Would that be because of the smell on an Aki Child? Because that's a smell that I will always associate with my youth. My grandparents had a vacation home that they only went to in the summer, and they lived in Florida the rest of the year. But they left all of their stuff, like it was just their summer home. So there were a ton of mothballs all over that place. And one of my jobs when they would first, get the it's not a camp, it's like an A-frame, but as soon as they were getting it ready for the year, I would have to go in and pick up all of those mothballs. And yeah, they're foul. They really are. Yes, I believe being in jail helped. Well, I'll tell you what, it helped me. Helped me in a pretty big way. I would not be sober had I not ended up in prison. Seventh son, you are loved. And that is not the first person to say that. So there's got to be something to that, man. Got to be something to that. Ever never heard of transine? I haven't either. I'm guessing it's probably a European thing. We got a lot of drugs that, like Rivotril, right, is a drug that is it's the same chemical makeup as clonazepam, but in countries south of America, it was always called Rivotril, and that kind of stuff just happens. They have different names for a lot of, but it's the same chemical makeups. You went from cocaine, then you went into the military, and it became whiskey. Whiskey's tough, man. Question: what do you think Johnny's esophagus looks like? If I had to guess, I would say probably a lot like everybody else's, except maybe a little older. You'd be really surprised, people, how the stuff that we eat, if it was really, really tough on you to eat the stuff that we eat, we wouldn't do it. Now, I don't mean the fish and all that crap. I'm talking about peppers. Capsaicin is actually something that the body really agrees with, believe it or not. They really dig it. We were told putting mothballs around newly planted trees would keep our Great Danes from pulling them up. Nope, they ate them. Yeesh. That's not good. That's not good at all. Zelda said, oh my God, my mother used mothballs in everything. I think it's a New England thing. Yeah, no question. It's a New England. It really is. I grew up in New England. So. Cindy Plumley says, seventh, I do like your sense of humor. You got this. You got this. I said that twice. Jeremy Shelton, there you are. Where have you been? When you control mail, you control information. Newman. But there's some truth to that. Thoughtful. Captain Tommy, you want to go to Vietnam and have some of their food? It'll make you have an iron stomach. I've eaten a lot of Vietnamese food. I would love to do that in Vietnam. I really would. I would love that. I am a huge fan of their Maxine is or don't know that one either, Kelly. Crazy. Darvon, says Zelda, was an old one, not made anymore. Are you sure Darvon is not made anymore? I think it is. They may just call it Darvocet, right? But I know that Darvocet is at least a year ago, they were still using it in hospitals. Very weird drug in that it doesn't do a whole lot if you put it in your vein, but if you stick it into the muscle and you muscle it, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it really does work that way. Question: when will the next night yard be? 40 minutes? 30 minutes, something like that. We're going live right now. We're just going to set up and retool. So it'll be about 15 or 20 minutes right here, Russ and I, for Night Yard. Thank you, Anik. Perfect timing. Thank you, Rachel. I'm trying to take care of me. I really am. Mothballs smell like DMT. I was waiting for somebody to say that. I really was. Apparently, Ghislaine Maxwell, there's boy, oh boy, that's 6 shows right there. Honestly, that is so many shows that you could do. That thing stinks to high heaven, and I'm not going to attack it now, but maybe in a future show. I'm not a big fan of any of that crap. So, alrighty, peeps, I am going to go and queue up this Night Yard, get my boy Russ on the horn, and I think we're going to be going live in about 30 minutes, 29 minutes, something like that from right now. So we will see you there. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. The cat. I don't know where the cat is. She's been on one. All right. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.